telling you you have one way to view things and one way only. And if you don't, we'll demonize and attack you.
I've been saying that.
And as a young woman, seeing Justice Jackson on the Supreme Court is invigorating, truly. And on Tuesday, it baffled me that you would ask such flagrantly racist questions to this exceedingly well-qualified candidate.
This is going to be a good one, man. Make sure y'all get y'all popcorn and let's have fun.
I know we've already talked about Justice Jackson. Since you're here tonight, though, in the name of fostering intellectual diversity in academic spaces, it would appear to me that you already recognize the importance of new perspectives. And as a young woman, seeing Justice Jackson on the Supreme Court is invigorating, truly. And on Tuesday, it baffled me that you would ask such flagrantly racist questions to this exceedingly well-qualified candidate. Your colleagues in the GOP promised a respectful and dignified hearing for Justice Jackson, and to me, you did not uphold this. So today I wanted to create a space where you might be able to challenge your own thinking, as prudent scholars often do. So I'm here to ask you, what are two nice comments you can give about recent nominee Justice Jackson's judicial experience, besides from she has an easy smile?
One thing I will say, I like this girl's passion. She is extremely passionate. I don't know if she's being accurate because I don't know what Senator Cruz said, and I don't know how he's going to respond. But she is she is passionate, to say the least. Let's continue.
Yeah, you racist. What's the comment? Well, let me start by thanking you for being here, and thank you for asking a substantive, important question. Thank you for engaging in a conversation. I think we all would be better off if we engage in substantive conversations. There's a lot to praise about Judge Jackson. She is very, very bright. She is very, very accomplished. She is very talented. She has an impressive and inspiring personal story. I will say, sitting listening to her opening remarks, where she described her personal story, she described her parents' journey. You had to be dead not to be inspired by that journey.
Sounds like he's a fan of her. All jokes aside, it sounds like he really likes Senator. It sounds like he really likes her. I don't understand where the racism is yet, but maybe it's going to come up in this video. We'll see.
And listen, I will say more broadly, if you look at the history of our country, if you look at the history of our country on race, it is absolutely inspiring to see an African-American woman serving on the Supreme Court. I will also point out that when it comes to issues of race, I think both the press and the modern left are hypocritical on this question. That they only define someone as black, or they only define someone as Hispanic, if they agree with them ideologically.
Okay.
So, Clarence Thomas has been on the court for decades. Clarence Thomas is a black man. The left hates him. They despise Clarence Thomas. And I'll tell you, by the way, the treatment of Clarence Thomas on the left is markedly different than, say, Antonin Scalia. Antonin Scalia was brilliant. He and Justice Thomas were every bit as conservative. And yet, the vitriol that was heaped on Clarence Thomas, nasty, racist language from the left, there was...
Bro, that is facts, bro. That is so true. And this is coming up time and time again. And people are starting to realize this. When I say... And this is not even shade to one party. This is just what I've seen in real life. The Democratic Party tries to tie your race, your ability to identify as a race, to who you're voting for. Same thing was happening, he said, Clarence Thomas. I've not seen one article of promoting Clarence Thomas, saying he's going down in Black history. I've not seen one. Not one. I'm sure he's made history. But no one's going to write about him. No one's going to say he's a part of Black history. No one's going to say any of that. simply because they don't support his ideologies. Which is why I'm saying, if you are black, the Democratic Party tries to say that you cannot have the freedom to exercise certain rights and freedoms of speech. This is what I'm saying. This has been proven time and time again. The only people who are said, you're the first black one to do this, or you're the first black person to do this, or you're going down in black history, the only time that's ever said about someone who's black is if you support democratic ideologies. I'm not speaking literally, I'm speaking figuratively when I say the only time. But yeah, I've noticed that time and time again. It's terrible.
One magazine cover that showed Clarence Thomas as an Uncle Tom sitting at Scalia's feet, I think was racist and disgusting. And listen, I will say this as an Hispanic man. As an Hispanic man, Jorge Ramos went on television in Spanish and described me as a traitor to my race for daring. Okay, look, that says something about the view of the left, that they're telling you you have one way to view things and one way only. And if you don't, we'll demonize and attack you.
I've been saying that. I've been saying that. And when you talk about oppression, that is bro, this makes me passionate because that is literal oppression. That is literal oppression. And it sucks because if you're a young, free thinker, you're going to see that happening and say, why should I vote for you? Why should I identify as this? Are you really trying to say if I do anything other than what you tell me to do, I'm not black anymore? Who do you think first of all, who do y'all think y'all are to say that to me? This is why some people don't take them serious. This is why conservatives don't take a lot of the Democrats serious, because when you talk about racism or you talk about oppression, conservatives aren't out here saying that if you don't vote for me, you're not black. I've never heard a conservative say that. They're not going to say that. I've never heard a conservative try to paint black people in an image based off of how they're voting. They always keep it political. If you vote for like this, they're not going to talk about your race. They're not going to talk about your gender. They're just going to talk about you being stupid and voted for something different. But Democrats, if you vote a certain type of way, they're going to say you're not black. They're going to say you're not a part of the culture. They're going to say you're not this. They're going to say you're not that. They're going to say you're not... They attack your character as a man and as an individual. And it sucks.
So look, and by the way, in terms of having the first African-American woman on the Supreme Court, there was an opportunity for this to happen 20 years ago. There's a judge named Janice Rogers Brown. Janice Rogers Brown was a Supreme Court justice on the California Supreme Court. George W. Bush nominated Janice Rogers Brown to the D.C. Circuit. At the beginning of his presidency, he nominated Judge Brown to the D.C. Circuit. The Democrats filibustered Judge Brown. That filibuster was led by a guy named Joe Biden. It also included people like Chuck Schumer. It included Pat Leahy, included Dianne Feinstein. The reason they filibustered Judge Janice Rogers Brown is because she was a black woman, but she was also conservative. And they did not want her to go to the Supreme Court. And they succeeded in filibustering her. They delayed her nomination for a couple of years until it finally went through. She finally went to the D.C. Circuit. Now, everyone who was harumphing in the media that if you oppose an African-American woman who's a qualified judge, you're a racist, precisely zero of them thought it was racist for Democrats, including Joe Biden, to filibuster Janice Rogers Brown. By the way, there was another nominee that...
Because a lot of conservatives actually look at black people as equal humans. They look at black people as equal humans, and because of that, they criticize you the same way they criticize anyone else. Senator Cruz, the reason why he's so comfortable criticizing a Supreme Court justice who happens to be a black woman is because he looks at her as an equal. If she was black, white, Asian, Hispanic, he wouldn't have cared. He would have probably criticized her anyways. He probably wouldn't have cared at all if she was any color under the sun. But a lot of Democratic people, they don't look at black people as equal humans. They look at black people as less than. And because of that, They think that you should deserve or you should get special treatment. But they also think that they control you. They think that they put you in position. They think that they have power over you. They have intellectual authority over you. And because of that, if you step out of line, they think that they can put you back in your place. They think that they can put you back in your place because how dare you step out of line when I put you in position. That's how a lot of people on the left think. Not saying everyone, but based off of the policies, based off of how they speak about the black community, that's what I get from it. Conservatives or Republicans could not care less what color you are. They want you to do a job. They want you to do something. They want you to think a certain way. They don't care what color you are. They don't care about your color or your gender. They think about what's right and they think about what's wrong. Whether or not what they think is right or wrong makes sense, I know they don't think about color, but Democrats, they definitely do consider it. But let's continue.
Bush put forward a guy named Miguel Estrada. Miguel is an incredibly qualified Supreme Court advocate. He was nominated to the D.C. Circuit as well. The Democrats filibustered him. If you read the memos that were leaked from Ted Kennedy's lawyers, here's what Ted Kennedy's lawyers said about Miguel Estrada. They said, we must stop him, quote, because he is Hispanic. That's what Ted Kennedy's lawyers said in writing. Now, I'm going to suggest to you, if you oppose somebody because of their race, that is the definition of racist. And look, I'll point out in your question, you said that my questioning of Judge Jackson was you used the term racist. Listen, racism is a horrific evil in this country. It is also an insult that the left tosses around casually. I would welcome, if you look at the questions I asked Judge Jackson, every single question I asked her concerned her record. Either her record as a judge, sentencing defendants before her, or her record writing academic materials and law reviews, or her record giving speeches to law schools. All of that is the job of the Senate in the advice and consent process. And so respectfully, I could not disagree more deeply when you say it is racist to examine a judge based on their record. If the Democrats wanted to oppose Janice Rogers Brown because they oppose conservatives, you know, do you think the Democrats were all sexist when they voted party line against Amy Coney Barrett? I'm willing to bet you don't, because she's not a liberal woman. So you can't have it both ways, which is that when a Democratic nominee has a certain characteristic, anyone who opposes them is racist or sexist or what have you. But when a Republican nominee has those characteristics, it's open season and you can go after them full force, and the left is righteous in doing so. The standard should be the same, and I'm going to suggest what the standard should be, is we should examine people based on their actual record and whether and to what extent that record demonstrates they will defend the constitutional rights of all Americans. I think that's what people care about.
And that's fair. That's fair. It makes perfect sense to me. Why? And the thing is, this is just a normal take. One thing on my channel, I haven't even gotten into real politics yet. I have a few times when you look at the presidential or the presidential campaigning, but most of my stuff or most of the videos I react to are just common sense. Don't be racist. Yes, you're allowed to criticize any judge. Are you going to give Judge Jackson special privilege because she's a black woman? Why can't you criticize her policies? She was a new elect judge. Like, why can't you? You should be allowed to. Not saying that you should look into everything, every single detail she does and hyper focus on every wrong thing she does. No. But if she's a judge, you should be able to criticize them because they're a public judge. Why can't you? But anyways, I'm Jojo. I'll see you guys later.